Hello, Americans, and welcome to 5 Minutes of Common Sense with your host, CJ Brown. This is a new commentary, video commentary of selected news stories of the day and the stupidest people on earth in Washington, D.C., who call themselves our elected representatives. You know, I always like to refer to all the crooks as hailing from the East Coast and all the nuts as from the West Coast, but that's not always the case. I know they're not all crooks and nuts. For instance, there was, for my opening story, one woman by the name of Doris Day. She was known as America's own sweetheart and a star of films, recordings, and television in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. She died 2 days ago at 97 years of age at her private ranch in Carmel, California. A more decent, beautiful, and talented American citizen you are not likely to ever see again. Typical freckle-faced American, all-American girl. She was really something, and a very kind-hearted individual, too. She took up as one of her last causes for many years animal rights and animal protection. Now let's get on to our story of the day. It has to do with a man who had as much contempt for American politicians and the tax system here in the United States as anyone who has ever lived in the United States. I'm speaking of the only man in American history since the Boston Tea Party who successfully launched and carried out a tax revolt against the U.S. government, in particular the state of California, in the United States. His name, of course, was Howard Jarvis, a good friend of mine, and his referendum on the California ballot was called Proposition 13, which passed overwhelmingly at the time that it was introduced, and that was back in the late 70s. Today, there are many people, senior citizens in particular, who are still in their California homes thanks to Howard Jarvis's work. Had it not been for him, they would long ago have been tossed out on the street because the property taxes kept going up and up and up. And he said, we've got to get control of this. These people are idiots. They are not going to control us. We're going to take back the reins of government and control them, which is what our founders intended. I used to go visit Howard Jarvis at his beautiful office suites in a high-rise way above Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles, California. And we would sit and talk taxes and people and human nature and all of it. And he had a good attitude. He was very firm and very crusty. He asked me, "Where are you from, my friend?" And I said, "From Wisconsin." That's when I first met him. And he said, "Well, I feel sort of sorry for you." But he said, "There may be hope for you back there in Wisconsin because we're currently trying to get Taxachusetts back into Massachusetts again, because we all know that's a heavily liberal left-wing state too that knows no other way except to tax people." Sort of sounds like what's currently going on in California government with the current governor here. What's his name? Newsom, excuse me. Well, anyway, Jarvis was a wonderful individual, and I'm so glad I had a chance to meet him and discuss with him these issues. And that's my broadcast for today. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.